Hey guys, I'm Nick and welcome back to Sci-Finatics. Or if you happen to be new here, please don't forget to subscribe to stay up to date with all the latest Star Trek news on YouTube. Today I'm talking about episode 9 of Star Trek Discovery Season 3 entitled Terra Firma Part 1. And we're going to take a look at the trailer for this episode and we're going to take a look at the sneak peek scene that CBS has come out with for this video. So let's take a look at the trailer and then we'll break down some shots and see what we can learn.
Maybe we'll find something that can help you.
The needs of the many must outweigh the needs of the one.
Will you really be able to let her go when it comes down to it?
Fight me! You want honor? It's out there.
You knew this would happen to her?
Our future is slumberous. Is this the cure? This is my chance, and I'm taking it.
Well, we've certainly got some interesting stuff there in that trailer. So let's take a look at all of the shots in that trailer one by one and see if we can work out in a bit more detail what is in store for us in Terra Firma Part 1. Well, for starters, it looks like Georgiou's got a lot of pent-up frustrations going on here because she's not feeling so well, she's having these flashbacks, and it's clearly getting on her nerves, hence taking it out on some gym equipment in the Discovery Gymnasium, doing some martial arts moves on some practice pads here, getting some of those pent-up frustrations out. She's clearly still having those flashbacks of San, the person who died in the Terran Empire, doing a bit of sparring with Burnham, and clearly getting a bit too into it from the looks of things, since she's like axe throwing and sword wielding, and I think from the looks on Burnham's face, I think she's kind of implying like, just steady on, Giorgio. You're taking it a bit too seriously, and you're going to take my head off with an axe here in a minute. In this next scene, we've got Kalba having a bit of a medical debrief with Kovic, and Kovic lets a bit of information out for us, which gives a bit of insight as to why Giorgio is going through all these weird medical episodes. They discovered during the temporal wars that time travel was destructive to biological matter, particularly if you were a time traveller that also had crossed over between dimensions. And he uses the example of this Betelgeusian Starfleet officer by the name of Yor, who was originally from the Kelvin universe, who crossed over during the temporal wars from that universe into the future to be a time soldier. Based on Yor's appearance here, it would seem that in the Kelvin universe, around the time of Star Trek Nemesis 2379, Starfleet was still using the next generation uniforms that Picard and crew were wearing during the first and second seasons of the show. It seems in the Kelvin universe they hung around with those uniforms for quite a much longer time than they did in the Prime universe. We know it's the Kelvin universe because in the upcoming sneak peek scene, which I'll get to very, very shortly in the latter part of my video here today, but Kovic references a temporal incursion of a Romulan mining ship. So this is clearly the events of the Star Trek 2009 movie with Nero and so forth. This is the second time we've seen a Betelgeusian in Star Trek. You guys would remember in the first episode of Season 3, the Courier Cosmo that Book was fighting with was also a Betelgeusian. They kind of look very similar to the Uridians to me. And it would seem like Giorgio's symptoms are getting worse. She's at the mess hall, her hands are shaking, and the rest of the crew can kind of visibly see she's pretty shaken up, and things aren't going too well for her on the health front. Saru and Burnham in a meeting with Vance. I'm a bit confused as to why Burnham is in these meetings. If she was relieved of command of First Officer, shouldn't Tilly be in these meetings now with Vance? But instead it's Saru and Burnham again. Same as last week's episode. Giorgio in medical, responding clearly quite negatively to a medical scan by Kalba. Admiral Vance giving one of his usual stern Starfleet briefings. A beautiful looking shot of the Discovery with the warp nacelles detached in the foreground, as you can see, arriving at some new planet of the week here. And it looks like that planet of the week is a frozen wasteland of some description. So whatever is going on with Giorgio and her various different medical afflictions, it seems like they've perhaps journeyed to this frozen planet as a potential location as to where maybe some sort of cure might be found, perhaps? Nevertheless, it is a cool-looking planet, and certainly a nice change of pace and a nice change of scenery from the locations we saw at the beginning of the season with Iceland and so forth. It's good to mix it up with a few variety of locations in the show, and this is no different here.
And in Giorgio's dialogue, she says it's her chance and she's taking it, which would seem to imply wherever they happen to be is definitely some sort of lead or prospect on curing her current medical affliction. And from what Kovic said, the only way to do that is either send her back in time to the 23rd century or to send her back to the Terran Empire. So let's cross our fingers for Giorgio.
So next, guys, we're going to take a look at the sneak peek scene that CBS has come out with for episode 9. It's got an interesting little story there. We've got Kovic from, which we're assuming he's Section 31. We don't know for sure, but all the indications seem to point he's maybe potentially Section 31 type person. So Kovic is having a bit of a conversation with Dr. Kulba. They're analysing Giorgio's medical scan and trying to get to the bottom of why she's been having these blackouts and these weird episodes that she's been having. And we actually do get to find out a bit more information about this predicament that she happens to be in medically. So here we go with the sneak peek scene.
If you'd come to me sooner, I could have saved you a lot of trouble. I wasn't aware that you had any medical training. Yes, well, I'm a man of widely varying interests. And I understand she's been presenting with physiological symptoms. But the cure won't be found anywhere in this room, or in this galaxy for that matter. Computer, open classified file Beta 4895 Omega. Lieutenant Commander Yor, deceased. Time Soldier. Time Soldier? Consider yourself lucky to have skipped the temporal wars. Amongst the many horrible things we discovered when weaponizing time, temporal travel can make you pretty sick. It turns out our molecules are designed to function in the time at which they're created. But everyone on Discovery travelled through time. Yes, but only one of you is also from a parallel universe. You're here, travelled forward from 2379 and across from an alternate universe created by the temporal incursion of a Romulan mining ship. Before Giorgio, Yor was the only individual to have travelled across both time and dimensions. So you knew this would happen to her? Suspected. Every molecule fights to either go back in time or jump a cosmic divide.
So there you have it. What did you guys think of this sneak peek scene and trailer of this episode? We're getting towards the end of the season now, so we're hopefully going to be getting a few more solutions to a few of these puzzles that keeps getting presented in our various episodes. Don't forget to like, to comment, to share, subscribe, check my merchandise out either through the YouTube merch shelf or clicking the link in the description below, or click on join if you want to learn more about becoming a Sci-Finatics member and getting access to all my behind the scenes videos and updates on what videos I've got coming up and all that crazy information. And I will see you guys very soon for my next review.